Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production for Gorcon, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives after they put out important news. I'm going to give you 15 million plus reasons to love this interview with Jason Williams. He's a CEO of Kidoz, trades in Canada, KIDZ, for friends in the US, KDOZF. And what you're going to love about him, if you just discover him because you've seen the headlines, is they own the biggest mobile advertising platform for kids and families. How big is it? Almost 4,000 apps around the world are using Kidoz, reach over 300 million kids. And that's why they're the market leader of safe contextual mobile advertising. More than just lip service, because you can't just talk the talk, got to walk the walk. They're working with some of the top brands in the world: Disney, McDonald's, Hasbro, Lego, and they're a trusted partner of both Apple and Google, because you got to be if you want to sit inside their app stores. That's all translated into record revenues last year, 2022, $15 million, up 21% last year, full year. And that was in a down year for the entire mobile advertising and digital advertising space. So that was really impressive. And what do we talk about today? They're reporting continued network growth in Q2. Jason, welcome back, my friend.
Thanks, George. Great to be here.
Hey, I love having these kind of discussions, because you're not just growing financially, but to do that, you got to grow your network. So you want to report to everyone how fast the network's growing. 350 million monetized impressions in a quarter. Yes. What's even more impressive is up 36% sequentially over the last Q1. Right. How did you guys do that, especially in a pretty tough environment?
Right. Well, it speaks to a number of factors. First and foremost, what we're seeing is spend returning to marketing agencies, brands. They're getting back to business a little bit, which is excellent. Q1 was a tougher quarter. We've analyzed it deeply now, and really, it was more flat than down that we saw. A couple of people disappeared. They pulled away their marketing budget, and that made it a down quarter. But really, it was flat, and now we're seeing that trend push up and pacing ahead month over month. And so the spend is back. And secondly, what we're seeing is more partners, new partners that are spending more. They're liking the performance, they're liking the quality of what we're offering, and then that brings more volume.
And what you're offering isn't just tech, right, Jason? It's also the fact that you're delivering this in a really compliant way. Because we've got new legislation in the US, and we're seeing these monster fines. They're coming out more frequently. They're no longer slap on the wrist. These are big fines that are being handed out. You're doing it in a compliant way. Is that the big differentiator for you, in addition to your tech, that you're able to be so compliant?
Yeah, I mean, because of the regulation within the Kidoz business, there aren't that many options. And so if a buyer wants to reach kids compliantly, they can come to YouTube, or they can come to Kidoz, or there's a few other options that we think are less performant and less interesting. And so that's kind of one of the main drivers behind Kidoz's growth as it stands. But then what is amazing about that is, because that we're doing so well within this protected area, this protected moat, we are able to build that technology, duplicate it out to our Prado non-kid system, and then start to bite off areas in the big market, and without risking our existing market, which is wonderful.
And a lot of people who are watching this for the first time don't know what Prado is, but that's your platform for teens and families, because Kidoz, by its name, has been in the market for kids under the age of 13 ballpark. Exactly. That, I saw in the press release, is looking really successful. It's up 200%. Q2 over Q1. It still represents a small amount of your business. Yes. So 200% won't have a material, big impact yet, but just the fact that it's growing by that fast means I have to infer and ask it, is that brands and agencies that are saying, you've already proven yourself, let's take Prado out for a ride as well?
Yeah, that is very true, actually. So, I mean, we're sold by agencies, about 40 different agencies globally, because we have partners in many different countries where they represent Kidoz, and they've known Kidoz, and they've built up that brand experience with Kidoz and their partners. And now we've said to them over the last several months, hey, here's Prado, here's what it is, let's get it on a plan. And so it started getting onto plans in Q1 and the results were good. And we had some great, financials, insurance, beauty, automotive, they're
Wow.
testing. Yeah. And it's working. And it's a huge, huge area. And we couldn't be more excited. And, is it going to be 200% quarter over quarter? I think it will be for a while and maybe even more. I mean, our programmatic business alone, I think I saw numbers that it's up, like 1,000% year over year. And there's just so much opportunity here if you're aligning the right technology with the right partners at the right time, the delivery's there, performance is there. AdTech, we think that it's, all automated and you just say, hey, Google, and it all works, but it doesn't. There are so many little hiccups along the way. And what's great and amazing about the Kidoz and Prado teams is that we solve those hiccups for partners. We're there, we jump on it, we troubleshoot, we get it going. It opens up the pipes and then they get great performance. They run back to their brands and their brands are happy and then more spend comes.
And they're happy and they feel safer.
They do.
At the end of the day, because the COPPA,
yeah, COPPA is that compliance is critical to all of our
explain that
Kidoz
just a little
brands.
bit to people, because
Sure.
what is the COPPA? I know what it is.
It's the Child Online Privacy and Protection Act, and basically it has a few different areas of importance, but the critical one that impacts advertising is that you're not allowed to collect, share, or store personal information of children. And so almost all advertising digitally is requesting as much data as it can so it can profile people and retarget them. But under COPPA and with kids advertising digitally, you can't collect any of that information, you can't ask for it, you can't touch it, and then certainly you cannot retarget based on anything that exists from previously served advertising.
And yet that was happening, right? Up until COPPA came along, even though it was a no-no.
Oh yeah.
It was happening and people were kind of like,
Absolutely.
all right, well, I get a slap on the wrist, so I make too much money from this.
Yeah, the fines weren't really there.
Playing into your hands, right?
Oh, Matt, for sure. It carves out everything and it's moved up the agenda, the political agenda. I mean, we've got President Biden saying that online child protection is one of the pillars of the future in his term. And so the regulators are following that. The fines are heavy. The systems are being analyzed. And Kidoz, we know, is built from the ground up, completely safe, no data, no retargeting. So every dollar that flows through our system is completely safe. And that's nice assurance for big brands.
Now, most people who are going to be watching this are going to be investors. They're either current shareholders or they're prospective shareholders. So naturally, they're thinking, all right, this all sounds great. This sounds really strong. What's this going to mean in terms of dollars and cents at the end of the day? And your guidance looks like, I was pleasantly surprised by this, looks like another up year, despite the fact that Q1 was your first down quarter in years.
Yeah.
Why is that? Let's talk about why you see an up year after.
So, of course, I mean, so you have a tough Q1 and you're in a little bit of a hole, but Q1 and even Q2 combined is less than 30% of our year. And so we had we've seen strong months since Q1 ended, and we know we're getting back on track, and we believe and can see that Q3 and Q4 are going to be the strongest ever. And Kidoz is running great, and everything that Prado brings is just extra lift. And I can't say too much about like specific deals, but like we've got some really interesting stuff that's activating right now. We're speaking with some of the biggest agencies in the world, and they're really interested in what we're doing and how we can bring inventory to them that is going to help their brands and help their metrics with a great partner. And so that's what we're doing on the Prado side. And then on the Kidoz side, and actually it folds in both ways, we're building custom special mini games for big brands. We've run, one of the biggest brands in the world is currently running a great game that we built specifically to engage users, and they're loving it. The numbers are fantastic, and we can take these games that we build, because a lot of our team actually has history in the games industry.
I didn't
mobile
realize you
games.
guys are building games. Sorry to interrupt you there, Jace, but I
Well,
didn't realize you guys were building games as
what
well.
they're called is a rich media. It's a playable ad, and so essentially you
Got
get
it.
an ad that's a playable,
Got
and they're big within mobile games for driving downloads. But we've been using them with brands, and when we build a really great one, there's an excellent opportunity to rebrand it with a different brand. So we're just basically, we have this amazing mini game now. The numbers are awesome. It's super fun. There's a global leaderboard, and like people are stopping what they're doing when an ad comes for like more than a minute to just play this game and be on the leaderboard
Genius.
and play it again. And
Genius.
so we're taking that out now to market to dozens of brands and saying, oh, like, hey, look at what we can do. Why don't we make it custom for you? And it could have your brand and, you know, your different things into the gameplay, and people like it. And then we'll target on Prado, we'll target your audience, and we'll make it fun.
I think that's genius because I surf like everybody else on this, watching this. And I don't remember the last time I clicked on a static ad. I'll notice the branding. I think it's more branding now than a call to action.
Sure.
But you give me something I can interact with like that.
Right.
And so next time you're on, I would love to maybe we get some B-roll or something like that.
Sure.
I'd actually love to show people that. And I'd love to see it myself.
Yeah, of course.
Another potential catalyst, we haven't talked about this, but Roblox obviously is has a big part of this audience, the kids audience.
Yeah.
And they've essentially shut down their marketing advertising there, which means that George.com and ABC Widgets and all these big companies no longer have that as a target market. True. That's got to be bullish for you, no? Because now great. I've got to come looking for how do I hit my numbers? I can't do it for Roblox anymore. Is that bullish for you guys?
For sure. I mean, like, so Roblox has come out and said, you know, they're a massive platform, of course, super interesting for marketers when it comes to reaching children. And so the platform itself has said, no, there will be no ads targeting under 13s whatsoever on the Roblox platform. And so that means that the money has to flow within more limited channels. And so that means it's going to flow, and it continues to flow off of television, billions of dollars spent on television. Yeah. But as television declines, that money comes off, it goes to YouTube, it comes to Kidoz, and it won't go to Roblox because Roblox is not taking that money. And so that's bullish.
Do you have any sense for how much of a market that potentially just frees up? Because that's a huge, I don't know if anybody knows that. They're a public company, so I'm assuming that.
Yeah, but it's hard to quantify the size of the opportunity, but billions are coming off TV and those billions are going into digital. And so it's billions. Obviously it gets spread around, and YouTube's an impressive competitor, but we know that our clicks are better, like our click-through rates are better, our completion rates are better. So that means awareness is better and the visitors that you can drive are better. And we also do like human contextual targeting, which is what is allowed within COPPA, which is picking the right apps for the right campaigns. And we do that working directly with brands. And so that's something that's really powerful. We don't just take campaigns and blast them across the network and say, thanks very much.
Well, I got to tell you something, and I'm not saying this because I'm biased, because you're on the phone, because I'm a shareholder, we're shareholders, but I've actually grown to be really unhappy with YouTube's advertising. First of all, it's become incredibly intrusive. So, but I get it. They want to serve more ads. Okay. Right. But on top of that, I'm watching Formula One, video or soccer videos, and I get an ad for sponge cake or something like that. And I get double aggravated because say, okay, if you're going to interrupt what I'm watching, at least show me something that's relevant to me.
True. Got
to know who I am by now. I'm registered. I've got history.
Yeah.
So they're actually, I think what might be happening, Jason, I want to ask you, but it seems like they're just going spray everything at the wall and bring as much money as you can. Whereas Kidoz, I'm assuming
we're as laser focused as the client
right?
wants to be. And that is what's great about mobile and the way that we run it. And, you will reach the target that you're after exactly within the regulatory environment that you're allowed to. And you will have a team working for you to make sure that it delivers. And
and that's so important to advertisers, because I guarantee you, I haven't had one ad where I've said, oh, wow, hey, that's a great video about, I don't know, car parts or
right,
something for my car. Let me click on that and I'll watch it later. And let me get back to my Formula One videos.
right.
So
No, it doesn't
as
happen
a,
anymore.
as a marketer, I think to myself, that company's got to be really ticked off that
Yeah.
I'm seeing their ad and it's useless.
No, and we've advanced our technology around the targeting, but like it's exciting for me as a CEO because I know how strong it is within Kidoz, and then I see it being adopted by Prado, because like in Kidoz we have our SDK, which sits within apps, and we have, it opens up video opportunities and we serve those videos, but it also opens up the install business, and the install business is important to us. It's not as important as it is for other mobile networks, because we have a great brand business, and because app installs are more challenging within kids apps. But we're rolling out a whole SDK version for Prado, and this piece of technology will be amazing for generating app installs, and it will allow us now to capture and target and start to grow our install revenues, which are the driving force. It's a $100 billion industry that very few companies are completely owning, because they have that first party tech that sits, and we're going to be entering with that first party tech.
And explain that just a little bit to the layman, the install business, what
Yeah,
that
of
means
course.
exactly.
So in mobile advertising, the number one buyer is other app owners. So they want you to see their ad, click on their ad, and install their app. That's a $100 billion industry. And right now it is totally dominated by a few companies whose SDKs, which is the advertising rendering system that sits within the app, they create the opportunities, and therefore they own the lion's share of the money. And the reason why we've done well with brand in app is because these mobile networks have not differentiated, because there's so much money that they make from the app install business. So they're just like, whatever, we're just going to focus on the app install business because this is billions and we're growing like crazy. And so we've refined what it takes to offer this system to brands, because that's where we've come out of, the kids area. But now we've refined the technology as well, that is very rare. Very few companies own this type of technology, because it takes a chicken and an egg type of growth to get there, which we've done within a protected environment. And now we've got this great tech, and we can benchmark it against other tech because we sit next to them inside apps, and we know it's strong. And so now we can run across that kids to teens and families bridge and say, okay, here's the tech. Let's launch it. Let's run with it. And let's take some of these app install dollars away who are looking for new avenues to grow, and start in that massive $100 billion area. And it's super exciting for us. It really is.
I don't think, look, we've had conversations now for a couple of years. I don't think I've ever seen you more confident, Jason. And that doesn't mean you're cocky. It doesn't mean you're arrogant, but I've never seen you more confident, because it seems like the Kidoz side is firing. The Prado side is starting to fire. The numbers prove it out. The sequential growth on monetized impression is your annual revenue. And now you've got legislation that's a tailwind.
Yeah. I mean, we had a full company-wide meeting just yesterday, actually, and we were talking about a number of these points just to help share to everyone what's important about the business and where we are and where we're going. And we're in a down market. Like there are inflationary pressures, there are other things that are going on, but we know that every day that we're building our systems and shipping new features and having more conversation with brands and refining what our ops team does, every day we do that further, we're getting stronger and stronger, and other competitors are falling off and more opportunities are coming. And so that's why I'm confident. I mean,
yeah, because everybody, I think, George Com Network at first just went all in for the dollars and going so fast, you're just you're knocking over everything. But now you've got to have the tech, you've got to be precise, you've got to be compliant, otherwise you don't have a business. So that's what's happening, right? You're having something like George Com Network that's falling off, because it just can't be compliant.
Yeah, it can't be compliant, and the tech is too complicated at
Yeah.
scale to maintain. And so you need an exceptional team to be able to understand and build and operate within this environment at scale. And we have that.
Yeah, and you'd expect any CEO to say that. And that's why at Agoracom, despite the fact that we're friends, I wouldn't let you get away with that if the numbers weren't reflecting it.
Sure, sure.
You know, and your revenue growth, and they're big growth. Like
Right.
who doesn't want 36% sequential growth in their
Right.
monetized impressions? So there are companies who would kill for that, right?
Right. No,
Um,
and we're in a good place, and I'm really happy and proud of the team.
Last question for you. The macro for mobile advertising. You had some numbers there. You talked about hundreds of billions of dollars at this.
Right.
It's unstoppable, right? I mean, TV just keeps losing its relevance.
Yeah.
YouTube is almost starting to lose its relevance. It's nothing but
I think
almost clear blue
it
skies.
all comes down to the fact that, well, there are a few actually interesting areas. One time I heard a really powerful marketing director for like a global company say, and the question was, why did you spend so much on Facebook? And his answer was he like didn't explain anything. He just said, because that's where the people are. And it's totally, it is that simple. The people are on mobile. The people are playing mobile games, hundreds of millions of them globally. America's something like 220 million people are playing monthly, and the reach is there, but it's been slow to be adopted by brands, largely because what I was saying before, the networks are making so much money on the install business that they haven't really approached the brands. And so that's why we're taking Prado out. We're showing people the power. And now the gaming has gone from this, oh, I'm not a gamer kind of sphere, to the fact that people are waking up that 3/4 of the world are playing these games, and their brand needs to be there because that's where the people are. And so there's going to be a huge growth, and that's what's in the numbers.
You know when it really started hitting me, and I'll leave with this, some anecdotal evidence to back up what you're saying. I was in Colombia last year, and I was walking through a market, you know, it was during the day. So I was walking around and buy some things, take a look at some things. And you have all those little shops, right? And in a span of, I don't know, an hour of me walking around, I saw a handful of shop owners, because, you know, these places are slow. It's not like
Sure, yeah.
Rodeo Drive, right? I saw a handful of shop owners, grown men, my age, older, not kids,
Right.
who were playing games on their phones.
Yeah, right.
Because business was slow, and I
Yeah,
watched them,
just
and I
killing some
purposely
time.
kind of peeked, you know, and say, look at this. You got
Yeah, it's so
guys
true.
who maybe 5 years ago said computers are stupid, games are stupid. They're more entrenched than everybody else.
Yeah. We launched a campaign in Mongolia last month. So like they're coming from everywhere, and marketers are wising up, and the reach is there, the performance is there. And you know, we're just getting started.
Yeah, and that's why I love these conversations, Jason. Congratulations again. I love
Thanks
the
for
fact
having
that
me.
you gave everyone a nice little boost here in the middle of the summer, because this one gets slow. We had both
Sure.
national holidays for the US and Canada. So this kind of
Yeah.
signals 30 days of a little bit of, you know, rest and relaxation. But
Right.
man, you come out with network growth, 350 million monetized impressions, up there. I love it. Congratulations. I guess next time we see you, and unless something big comes out before that, is the Q2 numbers will be coming out sometime in
Correct.
August. So we'll see you
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah. No, we're excited about that. And it's great to, you know,
Well, Jason,
continue what we're doing.
congratulations. Speak on behalf of all shareholders. And I'm saying, you guys make it look easy. I
Uh,
know it's not, because
no.
I'm on this side as well.
Of course.
But man, you make it look easy, and we congratulate you and wish you more success.
Thanks. Great to see you. Thanks for having me.
To everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening by podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, or your favorite podcast platform, to Jason Williams. He's a CEO at Kidoz Inc., trades in Canada, KIDZ, trades in the US, KDOZF. For those new to the story, you believe in the future of mobile, you believe in the future of mobile advertising, you believe in the future of tech companies like Kidoz, you've got to take a close look at the company, do your due diligence. Start that by taking a look at the profile page on Agoracom. And then once you've got that layman information, because we know it's a new business for most of you out there, and you've got that understanding, head over to the Kidoz website, do your deep dive due diligence. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. See you next time. Hey guys, this video is over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and even leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our channel and never missing another great Agoracom small cap video.